Hi there, this is Ajit here. In this session, I'm going to talk about 3 tips to avoid the waterfall traps in your project. But before that, let's have a look at this Burndown chart, which is notoriously famous on LinkedIn and other sites. Now, what is happening in this chart is that team is not able to deliver any value till 7th day, but then all of a sudden they start delivering some value towards the end of it. So what is happening here is that they have been busy in the development till this point of time, and after that the testers started testing, and whatever the PBA they could test, for them the defect could be fixed, they delivered it. But rest of them which could not be tested, which had the defects in them, they got spilled over to the backlog. Now ideally the Burndown chart should look like this, right? You start delivering from day 1 and then you reduce your backlog one after another, and by the end of the sprint you're all finished. But then this chart too looks very idealistic. In the real world it would be something like this. You start here and then you're taking your own time, okay, and then somewhere here. This is still fine because it's very close how the PBIs or values should be delivered. So what to do? How do we avoid the waterfall traps? There are 3 tips which, once taken care, can ensure that you are aligning to Agile way of working and you are staying away from the waterfall traps. These tips are team composition, create flow, and PBR and sprint planning. Talking about the first one, avoid having the waterfall kind of team structure when a person is designated as a team lead who makes all the decisions for the team, and team becomes dependent on. In other case, there may not be a person who is designated as team lead, but then rest of the team is junior folks. So they automatically become dependent on that person, and in that the development takes a lot of time. To avoid this, team should have independent, capable persons in the team who can pull the work in parallel without being dependent on each other. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you only need the experienced folks in the team. What I mean to say is that you have to have a good mix of independent, experienced, capable people in the team alongside the junior members, right? So that the decision is decentralized. The second is create the flow. Team should avoid pulling multiple stories in one time. Rather, they should focus on 1 or 2 stories at any given time and then deliver another stories and so and so. So they create a flow. So this is how it looks like. Team joins hand with one PBI, they deliver it, then another, and so on. Not only this, within the PBI itself, developers should complete one functionality at one time and give it to the testers. Testers come back with the observation. Those observations are taken care of, and team finalizes one functionality of the PBI. Then they move to the other, then other, till the entire PBI is developed and tested back to back. So that way they complete one PBI at one time, the entire functionality of it. Then they move to the second PBI, third PBI. Pretty much this way they create the flow. Now the technique that I'm talking about here is called swarming. So swarming an essential element in your Agile way of working to avoid the waterfall trap. The third is PBR and sprint planning meetings. These meetings are must. All the team members should join this meeting because these meetings create the focus, sense of ownership, and confidence in the team to decide a sprint goal for themselves in the upcoming sprint, and also start understanding how to do aspects of it. Now what may happen in this meeting is that 1 or 2 individual may take the lead to understand all the functionalities and design aspects of sprint, but then rest of the team may not, for whatever the reason. So that's where the role of the Agile coaches and Scrum Masters start, that they should ensure that every member in the team is participating, is involved, are getting the doubts clarified, so that at the later stage when the sprint starts, they don't become dependent on those 1 and 2 individuals who got fair idea of what the design and functionality look like. So that's how you can avoid the waterfall trap. So these are some 3 simple tips which can certainly align you to the Agile way of working. And you can see this kind of Burndown chart definitely coming on your board. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know your comments. Stay tuned.